Hello, and welcome back to Bracy Ag Services. Today, we will be looking at the Granular Insights app and how we can use this tool to analyze harvest data, which will prepare us for our next step of planning the following year's crop. So let's jump in and take a look at how the overall farm performed field by field. We can do this by selecting Summary on the left side in the black bar. Now we have a list of the acres that we grew corn on in 2018. Notice the farm average yield, moisture, acres, and bushels collected this harvest. Above this, we can toggle between different metrics we are interested in. Select one drop-down to see harvest moisture. And we can also choose the right-hand one, which will show harvest moisture by variety. Play with this as needed to see different things that you're interested in. To dive deeper, let's take a look at a specific field. For this exercise, I've chosen Park 48.8, which will allow us to compare multiple varieties. Once here, let's first go to the top drop-down bar. Here we can see basic information such as boundary and soils, imagery information, true color satellite, and vegetative index, which we will speak about in a following video, harvest data, yield and moisture, as well as ag planted data broken down by variety, seeding rate, and planting date. On the left, notice the various information here ranging from yield as well as historical data that's going to give us a good idea of how this farm performs year over year and how maybe we should place products in the following year. We can also choose in this map to compare different layers. So let's click this button at this time. Here, we can show yield on one side, and let's select from the top drop-down bar and go to an as-planted variety map. When comparing these two layers, we can see the as-planted layer on the right. The west half of the field was split planter between P0977 and a large chunk of P0843 on the east half. Over here in the left pane, we have an as-harvested layer. When comparing both, we can see there is not a real strong correlation between the varieties planted and the harvested data, which means both of these varieties were very close in terms of their performance. One thing I do want to pay attention to is where varieties are planted in a field when doing a comparison. Here we can see, when we zoom in, that 977 was planted in the south against what could be a road or a fence row. We had 843 on the east and west half of the field, or edges, and in the north. When doing a comparison, this can make a difference in looking at averages, something that is not pointed out specifically in the summary page. So that takes us to our next tool. If we exit the comparison tool, we can now see a feature at the top called Lasso. Select this button. On the top left of our map, we can see various shapes that we can select within this field. I'm going to select a rectangle. And I'm also going to choose an above average section of the field to compare these two varieties. By doing this, it will eliminate the outside rounds of the field, which as farmers we know there can be much variability, whether it's from shading from a fence row or animal damage. So now let's select what we consider to be a better portion of the field. Here, it brings up the data that we have selected. It shows the average in the field is now 240 bushel. Remember, prior, the summary of the field was actually 231. So we've now effectively eliminated the headlands in the lower portions of the field. Moisture is 21.8%, and the square that we've selected is 2.11 acres. Here we see at the bottom, or the middle, we have 243 as an average for P0977 and an average of 237 for 843. This shows in the better performing regions of this field, 977 is doing a little bit better. And this can be valuable information when going into the next phase of planning. Do we put 977 on our better dirt, or are we going to use 843? Now, let's exit the lasso tool and visit our last tab over on the left. This is the Insights tab. Here we see we still have selected P0843. Below we have a field analysis that shows each field and how it performed for this year. Next is seeding rate analysis. Here we see the various rates that we planted the crop at, which will not only give us insight as to how it performed at these rates, but also as to where we should maybe place this product in the appropriate rate for the following year's plan. Next, we have a soil analysis. This shows by soil type how this variety performed and allows us to fine-tune this product to go on the appropriate acres to maximize yield. Next, at the bottom, is a planting date analysis. This shows what might have been the appropriate planting date window. And while this may not correlate directly to a certain variety, it does give us a great idea as to when the best planting window was for this year. We can recall, was there a certain weather event or a cool down that happened? And year over year, we can use this tool to see when we should get that planter rolling in the field to maximize yield. That wraps up the analyze portion of Granular Insights. Please see some of our other videos that will spotlight the plan and grow portions of the tool. If you have any questions, please reach out to us here at Bracy Ag Services or Granular Support, or your Pioneer sales rep. Thanks everyone for watching.